In the summer of 2018, a group of 11 students from the College of Communication Arts and Sciences traveled to India. During their month-long journey throughout India, the students expanded their knowledge of media production and were immersed in an entirely different culture from their own. This documentary highlights their experiences, opportunities, and production process.
Because I wasn't sure of exactly what I wanted to do in film, I went to the study abroad advising office because I had always wanted to study abroad. And I was thinking somewhere like France, and I was thinking somewhere, maybe in Europe. So I went there and they were like, hey, if you want to do film, this study abroad in India is the one for you. And I was like, oh, sure, I guess I'm going to India.
Bye, Robin. Love you.
Prior to leaving for India, I was able to do a lot of research. I had a bit of downtime, so between when we got off of school in May to when we left in June. Here and there I was able to look up a thing here about the culture, and it was just a very good way to prepare.
Just doing my research about safety, just cultural norms, cultural differences, things that'll be a bit cultural shock being an American, especially a Black American going to India. I just wanted to prepare myself for all the different possibilities.
Before we got to India, I didn't really have an idea of what to expect.
Definitely wouldn't say I put in enough research personally. I gotta give a huge shout out to my mom for getting me ready for that trip. I would have been so screwed without her.
I want to write movies and I love filmmaking, so I want to try and do everything to become a better film writer.
So I just finished my first flight, landed in Amsterdam. The flight was 7 hours. Got a little bit of a layover here, and then I'm getting on another flight to go to Bangalore. That's also gonna be another 8-hour flight. So yeah, man, just grinding it out. About to go get me something to eat, maybe get a little bit of rest before I hop on this next flight, and then I'll see you guys again later.
Sweating, hot again, but having a good time, with my friends, meeting a lot of new people. But at the end of the day, we're here for one thing, to learn. So that's what we're gonna do, we're gonna learn.
When I got to the film city for the first time, it was a bit overwhelming because you come from just driving to the film city, you see kind of a little bit of how India really is, you see the densely population, and then as you get into the film city, you just see this beauty of artwork and sculptures. It's not a lot of people. Just got to the hotel, just got all checked in after 3 incredibly long flights.
We all came from different locations. Some of us from Chicago, some of us from Toronto, Northern Michigan, Detroit, even China. That was sort of fun because it was like I got there and some other people were here, and then the next day 2 other people would get here. All right, Leo, it's day 2. What's up?
Yeah, I'm a little tired, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I'm feeling good. I don't know. It's nice here, man.
Well, yeah, man, the hotel is nice. The staff is amazing. And just from what I've seen of India, is probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen in the world, to be honest.
Dude, this is unreal. You can see the whole film city from here.
When we first met Mr. Ramoji, it was kind of intimidating at first, knowing that he built something, I would say, from the ground up, and he made his own brand.
Meeting Chairman Ramoji was definitely a little intimidating. I mean, he's built the largest film city in the world. He does film, food, television, microfinance. He's got newspapers. He's also online. He has an app, plus a reach of 680 million people, and all of that can be translated into 17 different languages. I mean, it's just almost too much to think about sometimes.
I felt like he knew everything, and I didn't know anything, so I thought it was a good experience meeting him.
See things before they become...
Okay, what I have learned in my own experience is every frame in filmmaking is most crucial. You can't have it, a single, a few seconds of wasteful kind of a thing, a film. That then it will finish. You have to, you are making a film, and then for whom you are making? You are making for millions of people. So you want to hold them. You want to hold them to your project, engage them, engross them, absorb them.
Through the jet lag and just general craziness of adjusting to India, we had the seminars. So we had a history of India, we had screenwriting, editing, and then the practice film. We started with a training production day with Patel in the woods, and that was like a 30-second short, but we were there for hours. And then when we got to real production, I mean, it was just that times 1,000. It was physically draining, but also super invigorating because you're just surrounded by all these people and you have so much to do and you just love what you do, which is super cool.
How you feeling today?
Pretty good. It's up to you guys to make me proud.
All right, Carter, how's directing, man?
Directing, oh, sorry.
How was y'all experience in the crane?
Fun.
That was very fun.
Coming down was my favorite. You know, got the butterflies in my stomach just like on a roller coaster.
Uh-huh.
The screenwriting and the editing, they were people that came from a place of just so much passion and knowledge, and they got to pass that on to us. We got to meet some amazing people, and they taught us a lot, which definitely helped when we got around to production. The women of Pasipur, it's a farming community, and so they wanted to create a way to tell not only the community about what they do, but also have something available for future generations. The songs that they sing and the seeds that they plant and how they do it, all of that information is now documented for years to come, which is just amazing foresight for the future, and it creates an education for their own little community.
So it's so cool that they're so empowering and inspiring, and it makes me, like, as a future filmmaker, want to be like as good as they are.
Pasipur was amazing. It made me completely rethink any time I'd ever complained or been frustrated about like using equipment or being on set or having class, because we're just so lucky to have everything that we have available to us, and they have just created a whole community through film and through media and have done things that I didn't know were possible.
I think a lot of us love the traveling element of the trip. We wanted to travel and meet the people beyond the film city.
Out of all the cities we went to, I think my favorite has to be Pune, just because it was the first city we kind of went to.
every corner you turned there was something to see. There were vendors on the side everywhere, and everywhere you went there were people.
There was a whole group of us that did laundry in Pune. It was in this really old, neat roadside shop with this old man who has lived in Pune just about his whole life.
The guy just grabs a bag and starts emptying out in front of us. Underwear, socks, shirts, everything. Just for everyone to see who's walking by. It was funny because none of us were expecting that at all.
I think he was just one of the most unique characters we met on the trip.
The Film Institute in Pune was really interesting.
Just being allowed into the Film Institute in Pune was such a cool experience. It's one of the most prestigious film institutes in the world, and so getting a tour was awesome.
One of my favorite things that I really got out of it was looking at how their process of filmmaking went.
One of my favorite parts about the Film Institute was learning how their students do editing. They start off with linear editing, how they used to do back when film was first beginning, and then they evolve and transition into non-linear editing. And I just thought that was really cool because we got to see some actual working devices for linear editing and how they actually splice and cut film and put it together.
I think the synagogue fort in India was my personal favorite because I would just say it was magical.
Walking on the hills, and that was just beautiful.
Seeing the clouds and the animals walking around, and just the entire atmosphere was just very peaceful. And I feel like it was the real India that we don't get to see on TV. The differences in culture that struck me, it was very interesting, very different from America. Their clothes was different, food was very different. Food was something I've never even thought about trying before.
What was your favorite part?
The soup.
Describe the soup.
It's like, hold on. Are these ones? Yeah. It's good. I love it.
Being in Mumbai, it was really cool because it was the first time I actually got to go on a live set.
Famous actors. I know they are famous actors. I mean, I know those actors in the film set, they are famous, but I just don't know who they are.
It was definitely busier and more hectic than what I originally thought it would be. Definitely higher budget than what I'm accustomed to, more crew members. Just the preparation, the professionalism that we seen when we were on these live sets was really interesting and really cool. Just to see like how they would improvise with certain things or how they film different things differently.
India was hot, but Delhi was hotter.
Delhi was hot. It was really hot.
It was insane. It was so intense. I have never sweat like that in my life. I think our physical well-being was a huge bonding experience for the group, and just how we were all handling different foods and temperatures. In Delhi specifically, I got sick. And so I think there were 2 others in Delhi, 3 total that got sick. Then poor Derek and Danye were sick in the beginning.
One of my lifelong dreams was achieved while I was in India. This is a shout out to my brother too. Got to ride in a tuk-tuk multiple times. And a tuk-tuk is a little rickshaw, it's a 3-wheeled vehicle. And it's got this little tiny engine. And it's just a blast. You get to see the cities so fast and they'll run the meter and sometimes they'll try to rip you off and then you gotta bargain and it's just It was like the epitome of the city experience.
When we went to the school, I just made so many little friends, and the ceremony that they put on for us, it made me feel important, even though I was just a student visiting.
You know, the students there, they're doing a lot of arts-related works, and they were using the recycled materials to create more arts, which is pretty impressive.
They had all these displays set up for us. They showed us all of the science projects they were working on, creative projects they were working on, all of the food they made. The food was amazing, and I felt bad because I couldn't try everything because I was so full on all the other food.
And they put thought into their science fair projects and where their computer lab was, and how they related to us, and why they thought what we were doing was interesting.
Taj Mahal is Taj Mahal. It is great.
Taj Mahal is beautiful. Oh, I love Taj Mahal.
I'm a history guy, and I should have appreciated that before I went, and I'm glad I did when I was there. And then having seen it, that is a magnificent piece of architecture, and the story behind it is just shockingly incredible.
Being able to go to the Taj Mahal was really cool, but afterwards we got to go to the Shiro's Cafe, which was just such an amazing experience, and I think that as a group we just all really appreciated it.
When we got to visit Shiro's Cafe, where the survivors of acid attacks were running this coffee shop and spreading awareness and making sure that their voices were heard, I hadn't seen anything like that before. So to have them show that they're not voiceless and that they are representing the unheard was very important. Getting back, though, was definitely a relief in the sense that, okay, we get to go to these beds every night that we know that we'll just put all our stuff in one room and we can run out in the morning, shoot all day, come back, crash, and we're all set there. So returning to the film city was like returning to the home away from home.
It definitely is good to like be back and like actually like getting our hands dirty and starting like our filming, because like that's what we all came here for.
My experience with the dance part of the trip, I thought it was fun because we got to see how people express themselves through dance.
I can't dance. First and foremost, just the rhythm's not there. I definitely got out of my comfort zone, for sure.
The dance practices was a way for the team to bond, and the choreographer, it felt like he was just passing on his love for the dance, so I just felt like we would try to do it the best we could just because he was watching, really.
Rehearsing for and filming our music video was quite the experience. We were always practicing and listening to the music that we had, and honestly just trying not to embarrass ourselves as much as possible when it came down to filming. Or, well, I mean, at least that was my goal.
Before we started the production process, I really didn't know what to think. I knew that Amal had talked to us about this is going to be like a real life set, we're going to have crew.
I thought it was going to be a lot of moving around, a lot of people. I thought it was going to be super organized. The time was going to be down to the minute. We're going to know what we do, we're going to get it done.
Which necessarily wasn't the case, but I was just a little bit nervous because of the roles that I was playing in production, and I just wanted to make sure I did my part well, so it was easier for everybody else to do their parts as well.
So we actually got to start writing our film while we were still out on the road. But once we got back to the film city, pre-production, production, and post-production were wrapped in a week. We had a few days for location scouting and getting sets and props and costumes ready. From there, we had 2.5 days to film and about 2 days of editing before the premiere. It was definitely pretty intense, and we all learned some tough lessons, but they were all things that we needed to learn, and it's just not the kind of thing you can pick up in a classroom. You really need to be on set for it. So it was a great experience for everyone.
I've got makeup on because I am one of the actors for our short film that we're doing. Right now we are between shots. We're taking a break as we're moving some lights around and getting things set up for the next shot. We just got back from the banyan tree where we did a shot where I actually hung someone, which is a little creepy but also a little fun to do.
Would you ever act again?
Depending. Right now? No. It's not for me.
How do you feel about the movie so far?
I think it's going. You know, we have our bumps, but we'll work through it.
Thanks for helping us move in, Kurt.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not like I had a choice.
Dinesh, Sagar, and Patil were amazing. And Amal, obviously, with the help of the lighting crew and the audio guys. We would not have been able to do what we did without them.
We start shooting for the short film that will be premiered in a week, in less than a week. And everything went well yesterday.
How many mental breakdowns that people have during this?
Too many.
Too many.
Too many. Way too many.
Jesus. Oh, scared me, Kurt. Take that damn mask off. Quit playing around and turn the power back on.
You know, we got our camera team, you know, me, Leo, and Aaron. You know, we be doing our thing, but you know, we out here, we shooting. I don't know what time it is though, but it's late. The D coming soon. Be looking out, cause I'm coming for you.
So what are we doing right now?
We about to kill Rory.
They're gonna pull me with the board and ropes. I don't know how, but it's gonna get done by 2 o'clock.
Post-production was, it was a monster, to be honest. Being on the editing team was definitely a challenge, but I got to essentially help put together a short film.
When I read the script, I have my own thought about how the film could be. I got inspired by some scenes that people shot, because I haven't thought that way.
That very first day with editing, we edited maybe 17, 18 hours straight till about 5, 6 in the morning. So editing was definitely the most grueling part and process of all of post-production.
Comparing this part with the rest of the trip, this has been my favorite part. Yes, it's been stressful, but now I feel like I'm at home with editing because I really love to edit.
పరిశ్రమలు రామోజీ అకాడమీ ఆఫ్ ఫిల్మ్ అండ్ టెలివిజన్ రాఫ్ట్ ప్రోత్సహిస్తోందని ఈనాడు సంస్థల అధినేత రామోజీరావు తెలిపారు. రాఫ్ట్లో స్వల్పకాలిక శిక్షణ పూర్తి చేసుకున్న విదేశీ
Getting to share the work we did with Chairman Ramoji was definitely a nerve-wracking experience. There was also a news crew there interviewing us, which ended up getting broadcasted to a few million people that night, which didn't exactly help with the nerves, but I think it was definitely a proud moment for all of us.
Film is very exciting, but at the same time very challenging.
Bye, Nikhil!
Let it go. I'm sliding on
How was your trip, dude?
Oh, it was a good trip, you know, but time to go home.
My experience in India was insane. I learned so much, and I really think I grew as a student and as a person. I had no idea how much we would put into 4 weeks and how much I would learn in 4 weeks.
So one of the things that I've always wanted to do to get out of the country and travel, and so I'm just really grateful that I got to go.
I think my experience in India is unique. You will not get a similar experience anywhere else in the earth because here is Bollywood.
Definitely my favorite memory from the group would come from the second night that we were there. So we're walking around a little bit of the film city on the malls talking to us, and we get to this castle looking set and there's this moat out front. And it's a little bit dark out, so it's a little hard to see, and about 3 or 4 of us walk up to the moat, and we're about to like step into it, and we realize that there's water there, but the water was so still that like it was hard to see, so we're like, hey guys, there's water here, just so you know. And then all of a sudden we hear splash! And we look over, and Leo is in the water, and Amal books it to go see if, he's all right. Of course, right after we collectively say, hey guys, there's water here, someone already in, and we're like, oh no, someone's already gone, it's the second day.
That went past really fast, and while we were there, it felt like, oh, the days are dragging, but really, we was there for a month.
When we were in India, it was definitely stressful. There were times where you were just like, I just want to lay in bed all day, but you have to get up and do it. But now I look back and I'm appreciative of all the things that I've learned and did in India, because now I have those skills that I can take with me, and there's something that I can talk about that I feel like a lot of people don't get the chance to say that even if they've been in the film industry for decades. I was able to go to India, one of the most popular film cities in the world, the biggest film city in the world, and walk away with a short film.
The lunchtime, the dinner time that we spend together with each other, I personally feel like that's a summary of the day, when everyone gets back from whatever they've been learning or they've been doing in the film set. We always sit down in the same table, have dinner, and just have the conversation. It is a really memorable time for me. We are filmmakers, and it feels so great to be surrounded by them.